The next Kinnah, Kinnah Lamed Aleph, is a centerpiece in the Kinnahs that we say every year. And it's unique among the Kinnahs because of the uniformity of the form. One very, very simple element. The comparison between our tribe, our family, our nation, leaving Mitzrayim, and the exile from Yerushalayim, the Tzeisim Yerushalayim. We spoke last year on this point about the trauma of disappointment and the contrast between the promise, the hope, the vision that the Jewish nation had after hundreds of years of slavery, of bondage. The Tzeisim in Mitzrayim. With the brightest future ahead. Being gathered up into the arms of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amud Anan, Amud Eish. The man, the protection, the love, B'ni B'chari Yisrael, Ani Hu V'lo Yacher. With a shining future. And then the tearing away of what was ultimately perhaps an illusion. And what appeared to be the end of that story. B'tzeisim Yerushalayim. Well, the whole point of the Kinnah, obviously, when we're going to read it in a moment or two, is to contrast these two things. The tremendous excitement, the tremendous passion, and then the lamentations, the sadness, the wailing. When we remember leaving Yerushalayim, the point of the Kinnah is to contrast. But perhaps in contrast, there's also comparison. Perhaps the Kinnah is telling us something deeper. That in some way, as distant, divergent, different from one another these two experiences may seem to be, perhaps in as much as the B'tzeisim in Mitzrayim was a march to Sinai, was a march to Har Sinai, to Kabbalah Torah. You and I know now what they couldn't have known then, that the story would continue. And that the Jewish nation would make it through all of the different events that we've described in the previous Kinnahs, to sit, like we said last night, on the threshold of the Geulah. And perhaps in retrospect, to be intensified in these moments and in the moments of our very brief lives in this remarkable, wondrous, singular generation. Is to consider whether the leaving of Yerushalayim was also a journey to a kind of Kabbalah Torah. And the Torah of Auschwitz couldn't have been learned any other way. The Torah of the Arugei Malchus. The Torah of the Crusades, of the Inquisition. Of dying al Kiddush Hashem a million times. Of affirming our identity, even when we feel that our trust in Hashem has been betrayed. To die as Yidden, to die as Yidden. Life is not worth living, to die as Yidden. The Torah of October 7th. the Torah of being plunged from Simchas Torah into the greatest bewilderment and darkness that any of us have experienced in our lifetime. And to go home after dancing with the Torah and to take off our shoes and sit on the floor like it's Tisha B'Av. Matzah, the happiest day of the year. There's a Torah there. There's a Kabbalah Torah there. Torah is Hira. There's a message. There's a lesson. There's something that's learned. There's something that's exhibited. We evolve. We change. We develop. And the purpose now of us sitting here and saying these Kinnahs and contemplating the contrast as well as the comparison is to think in our own lives. What have we learned? If this has been a 2,000-year curriculum, what have we learned? Because we must not stay the same. We must change. We must wake up. And we must carry in our arms and in our hands
Right?
that Sefer Torah of exile, that Sefer Torah of Galus, that Sefer Torah of humility and of yearning and of almost incomprehensible strength and fortitude and clarity and defiance. The pasuk says in Tehillim, Hashem, you push the human being ad daka into subjugation. Chazal darshan diktuka shel nefesh. You push a person into an experience of being crushed to pieces. Pashev enashad daka. But the end of the pasuk is vatomer shuvu b'nei adam. And the one deviation in the whole Kinnah, if you turn to the very last line, Tairo to Udo Klechemda B'Tseisi Mimitzrayim. We were on our way to Matan Torah, to a Torah of Geula, to a Torah of guiding us straight to Eretz Yisrael. And then we faced our humanity again and again and again and again and again. So the whole Sefer Bamidbar Devarim is all about Am Yisrael's failings, Am Yisrael's experiences. But B'Tseisi Mimitzrayim, we were on our way to Kabbalah Torah. And then the Python ends, Asasan v'simcha v'nasyagan v'anacha. There will be great joy. There will be the erasure, the banishment of all sorrow and of all pain. B'shuvi l'Yerushalayim. When we come home after having learned the lessons, to know what it means to be humble, to know what it means to be humbled by life, to recognize, as the Gemara in Sotah tells us right before the end, the coming of Mashiach, Ein lanu amilisha ein ela lavinu shabashamayim. No one, nothing can help us. We're alone. We can't do it by ourselves. Only you, Ribbon Shalom. Only you. And that's the lesson. And then having learned that Torah, we can carry those special svarim of Galus, those special lessons, the sweetness, the precision of what it means to be a Yid, down to the Nakuda of the Nakuda. And we can return with great joy. Shuvu b'nei Adam, b'shuvi Yerushalayim.